This is sad. This is tragic.
He's still primed.
I'll never forget my first priming. The fear. And I was old enough to understand what was happening. One can only imagine how this poor child felt.
He is the victim of an unforgivable sin, committed by people who saw him as nothing but a means to an end. He must be so frightened.
Then I'll ease his burden.
You don't mean?
I'm not going to hurt him. Contrary to the tales, I don't go around killing dominants for no reason. What if I told you there was a way to remove Wallis's icon?
I tell you, you were a madman.
It's hard to believe, I know. But it can be done. Though, it isn't without its risks. Part of the icon remains no matter what.
So, it might still come to violence?
I don't know. It depends on the dominant. I've seen things end well, and I've seen things spiral out of control. But I do know one thing. If we turn our backs on this child, there will be no end to his suffering. And I think that a worse fate than the alternative. Don't you?
Very well. Do what you must. And whatever happens, I will own the consequences.
Don't be afraid, little one. Let me bear the weight.
It's not going to be that simple. We're not just going to, like, suck up his powers and that's the end of it. Let's be real here. We're going to have a boss fight with a baby. That's what's going to happen. He's afraid he's going to summon little monsters, and it's going to get violent. Or he's going to summon little droplets of water. That's fine, too. Oh no, we might get wet.
Hush now. It's going to be all right.
Wow, okay, I actually thought we'd be fighting a baby today.
Is it done?
Yeah, no, this seems way too simple.
I think so. I can feel the icon inside me. But something's wrong. He wasn't just afraid. He was angry. All right. Let's see what you've given me.
It's not a fight against a baby, but that's okay. The power of water. Clive has claimed a portion of the icon Leviathan's essence. Attuning with Leviathan not only changes the elemental aspect of Clive's magic spell, but also allows access to several new iconic abilities, such as Crosswell, an inescapable rush of water that pummels enemies from multiple angles. I'm glad we spent all of our, points mere moments ago getting an old ability when we just unlocked new ones. I kind of thought that we would get this at the end of the DLC. Kind of thought, a few hours from now, once everything's wrapped up, we'd fight the little baby and we would, but no, it happened immediately afterward. That's wonderful. I love timing like that. Leviathan's iconic feat, Serpent's Cry, can be used to summon Clive's off-arm, summon two Clive's off-arm, a sea-spitting serpent capable of dealing precision strikes to enemies at great distances. Cool, we're getting a gun. Pressing square in this state will unleash a tidal torrent, multiple bursts of water capable of forcefully knocking back smaller creatures, while pressing triangle will fire a powerful jet of blah, 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 blah. None of this is equipped. Why are you telling me all this right now? Using these attacks will deplete the tidal gauge, becoming unavailable when the gauge is empty. The gauge will slowly replenish over time, but can be refilled quicker by pressing O. Time a second press perfectly with the on-screen prompt to immediately refill the gauge, as well as earn unlimited ammunition for a short period of time. The tidal gauge is also replenished when successfully executing a precision dodge. And while using a Serpent's Cry, pressing R1 again while dodging will cause Clive to roll in the air, extending the dodge even further. Tidal Torrent can be used while rolling by pressing... There's so much to keep track of here. Only Leviathan's abilities are available during this battle. I'm so glad I was paying so close attention to all of that, and not just like reading it for the sake of the stream. This is great. No, this is good stuff. Okay, we're gonna refill, and I completely messed up the timing there, but the game didn't care? Maybe I didn't mess up the timing? Hold on, do it again.
Oh, look.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not doing it right. I'm definitely missing. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so now we can do Deluge. That's fun, and then we got Crosswell. That's great. And then we've got, what, Serpent's Cry, which is what we were already doing.
Just like old times.
Not good.
I don't want to heal myself. I want to keep shooting. Yeah, I think because we're in the middle of a demo, the game is just not going to let me fail doing that, which is great. Do Crosswell again. And then why not do Deluge again? What a wonderful experience. How fun is that? And then refill, and then mess it up immediately. Yeah, see, that time I didn't even hit the button at all. And the game was like, no, whatever, you're refilled. That's fine. Maybe it's less that you can fail, and more so that if you don't get it perfectly, you just won't get unlimited. That probably makes more sense. Now seems like a great time to do Tidal Stream. Yeah, there we go. Followed by Deluge.
You're finished.
This is kind of fun. I like all of these abilities so far. Wait, can I just, like, infinitely try to reload? Is that a thing that I could possibly do? I don't like that I have to keep pressing the button. I want to hold it down and have it, like, just shoot constantly. I guess, you know what we could try to do? Is we could try to dodge, like we were told to try to do. No, get out of the way!
Hit him back.
I'm figuring it out. Don't worry. I'm figuring it out. We're figuring all of this out. I'm gonna be an expert before long.
Come on.
We are, like, very close to death, but that's okay, because we've won. Great success, everyone. You were not using any more potions either. We used way too many in that. It was getting embarrassing. We got an Aqueous Orb, which is great, which is used in crafting, probably to make the final tier best sword in the game when the DLC's wrapped up. Or, like, right after I spend all of the materials I need in 10 minutes, we'll get the best sword in the game, and we won't be able to craft it. That is also just as possible, if not more so.
Is everyone all right?
He seems calmer now.
You said Walius was frozen in time. But he knew we were here. How?
I don't know.
Poor baby.
He's never reacted to anything or anyone. Until now.
Well, no one's ever come and sucked out his
Child's been
icon.
bound for nigh on a century. If he has been conscious from the first, we must remove the seal at once.
I think he's got
Not
too
that
much
simple.
psychological damage.
I wish it were, but... there's more to this tale. It would be better if I explained back at the village.
Why is she like this?
Then let's return before it gets dark.
Everything! Every bit of information is I'd like to tell you, but let's go somewhere else first. Every single... Just tell us now why we're here with the
Sorry,
baby.
Walius. I will make this right.
Any information you can tell us at the village, you can tell us now on the way back to the village. Is there like a set piece at the village? Have they arranged some stumps around a fire and they're going to tell us an epic tale? Does she just want the right ambiance? Does she want to set the correct mood for this moment?
So, part of Leviathan is inside you now, is it? Does it hurt?
No. Not anymore, anyway.
Good. Because I still have need of your strength. If you want to know the rest, we should head to the Witten Hall.
Of course.
Let's head back to the village. Let's head to the Witten Hall. Let's head to the bedroom on the right. Let's get under the bed. Let's put this blanket on. Let's not tell the story. Let's just take a nap. I gotta go buy potions. All right. I don't have time to deal with your nonsense right now. I'll meet you at the Witten Hall. All right. I'm low on potions, and I'm low on patience for your nonsense. All right. I guess that's everything we need to buy for right now. That's us topped off on potions. It looks like this guy's got something new for us. Or at least that's what I tended to... Oh, look, there it is. It's Tide Strike, everyone. And I was right. We needed the Aqueous Orb, which we have. It looks like we also have everything else we need. But it's worse than the sword we've currently got. If we compare our gear, it's got 10 less damage and 10 less magic. We're going to go ahead and craft it because it's possible that after crafting it... No, don't equip it. Can we upgrade it? Can we reinforce it, and will that make it better? Not yet, but that doesn't mean that we won't be able to in the future. And until then, let's go ahead and have a look at the description of it, or I guess we technically can't right now. We have to go into like our inventory to view that. So that's going to be into gear and icons. Okay. Surge did the tide, the water rising, as if it were some mighty whale, stranding itself upon the shore. Book of Currents 1540. There you go. Hopefully we will be able to upgrade it at some point, and it'll overtake Omega Weapon. Because why have the DLC, the first DLC have a better weapon than the second? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't benefit us at all. So hopefully they address that issue. I suppose we'll head to the Witten Hall now and see what exactly she has to tell us about the history of this world. Hopefully we get something good. You've got a lot to talk about, don't you?
My lord.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Dalina.
And I serve as adjutant to Lady Shula, tributary of Mysidia. While other adjutants who came before me played the role of guardian as well as an aide, Lady Shula is an able warrior in her own right and requires no protection. So I assist her in ministering to our people's affairs while she is absent or indisposed.
By way of example.
It was I who informed the rest of the village of your coming at the tributary's request. If there is aught you wish to know of our people and our village, please do not hesitate to ask. Well, tell me about the village.
As I'm sure you're aware,
this land was once the domain of the northern Thanes, though the settlement had lain abandoned for some time when our ancestors' wanderings finally brought them here. Remote as it was, it seemed to them the ideal place to settle, as they duly cast the glimmer over it that their new home might remain hidden.
The secret of the spell itself
was passed down from generation to generation since the time we left Ash. We used it to disguise our camps, that the custodians of the lands through which we wandered should not learn of our trespass. And it was these temporary enchantments which led our ancestors to complete a more permanent solution upon arriving here.
So they built the cairns.
Filled with all the shards of crystal the tribe could spare, and summoned forth a glimmer large enough to cover the entire land, and for many days and nights thereafter, their bearers labored to attune the spell, that the outside world might see this place slowly succumb to the blight.
And thus we hid ourselves away,
welcoming none into our private haven, until you, that is. At first, the spell only worked one way. It was only after the skies changed that we conjured a second illusion for the benefit of those inside. It was Lady Shula's idea. A salve for the nerves of those who feared the roiling storm clouds were a harbinger of the end. They are! If it weren't for, Clyde and Company. I pray that it brings you a little relief from the darkness of the world beyond the walls, as it has done us. It do that! It really, truly do, because otherwise, the world's kind of miserable now. Anytime I explore, it's sort of the base game, it's just miserable, because the skies are completely blackened, and there is naught but darkness and misery and Akashic to be found, and it's like the whole last third of the game is like that. It's very depressing. I'd like to know about the moats of water.
Our story began
on the narrow coasts of the southern Ash, where, for want of arable land, we relied on the mountain rains to quash our thirst and the bounty of the sea to fill our bellies, and thus did we learn the value of water.
After the fall of Drake's Horn.
We spent decades in exile, drifting across the desert and snowfields of the Twins, till at last we arrived here in Mysidia, our second true home. Here we found mountains, rivers, and seas not unlike those of our first home in Ash. All that we lacked was crystal. We had no mother crystal of our own here, nor have we ever received any stipend from our neighbors. Were it not for the few shards we had been able to stockpile during our wanderings in storm, we might never have survived the first few winters, let alone cast the glimmer that protects us. For to demand that the bearers among us sacrifice their lives for the benefit of the others was never an option. The hardships we had faced on our journey had brought us together, and we would not be divided again. Thankfully, our unity proved our strength. And so, here we have stayed, dependent only upon the blessings which this land provides us. The springs, the rivers, the seas, these are all we motes of water need. All right, thank you so much for all of that
There you
intel.
go, my lord.
Yeah, I've got a slightly better grasp on the situation around here. I see that you still got the chat box above your head like you have something new to contribute, but I don't know if you actually do. We're going to go inside and listen to what, she has to say inside the Witten Hall.
To understand the spell which binds Walyas,
Oh, good. They've got a
first know who
painting
we are, and
or
what drove
tapestry.
my forebears to commit such an atrocity.
This tapestry.
Is our story, the one that brought us here. After generations of wandering, my people sought refuge in northeastern Storm, some 170 years ago. But in exchange for our safety, the Gregorian Church demanded we renounce our faith and branded us heretics when we could not.
To be exterminated, as a lesson to others.
And so was it chronicled in the imperial histories, for anything less would have made the Church seem weak. Yet a handful survived. The few who did fled north and west, and in doing so discovered two things that would forever shape our fates. The first was an old legend, revealing how to make your very own mother crystal.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah, we've been there. We've done that.
Yes, yet it gave them new hope, however false. Our ancestors convinced themselves that they could recreate the divine if they could only find a strong enough heart.
Oh, dear. Okay, I see.
A living being capable of channeling torrents of ether. And the heavens provided.
A dominant. Well, yes.
They'd stumbled across a nostrum in an ancient ruin, which they believed could provoke a sudden outpouring of a creature's ether. They meant to enrage his icon.
They couldn't wait a few
Leviathan
years
would
till
have
he was older and
destroyed everything. Had our people not made their second important discovery. A means to stop time itself.
Where did they find that? The Northerners had no such magics, or they would have used them.
When our ancestors first arrived, the land was uninhabited, save for an old witch who lived on the highest peak.
That looks like a little
Her
girl.
body had
What do you
been
mean?
consumed by the curse, a cruel payment for her long years of service to the Northern Thanes. So desperate were they to prevent the fall of Drake's Eye, they'd forced her to devise a spell to stop time.
But Drake's Eye did fall.
Well observed, Jill.
It did. When she finally perfected the necessary magics, it was already too late. As punishment for her failure, the Thanes exiled her to this forsaken
That does not
place
look like an old
to live out the
witch.
few days she had left.
I mean, judging by
Knowing
the,
her suffering,
50% of her
our
face we can
ancestors
see, I think
cared
she's kind of
for her
fine.
as best they could, and in return, she gifted them her spell. That even though she should die, her legacy might live on.
Oh, a witch with time powers. Of course she would still look
So
young.
armed with both the knowledge
She's
of
halted
the
her own
ancients
aging.
and the secrets of time, our ancestors settled upon an ambitious plan. They would create a new mother crystal and enchant it that it might endure for all eternity. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end, and prosperity visit us once more. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child. A small price to pay, or so they believed.
But clearly things did not
Victim
go
of man's blind reliance on the mother crystals.
the way that they planned.
So we know the seal source. How do we break it and restore the flow of time?
And what are we going to do about the
recall
massive
dome of light
wave?
on top of the cliffs to the west?
Yes, I mistakenly thought
Inside
that's what was
lie
creating the
ruins of
glimmer.
an old temple. It was there that the witch built the Vare, a conduit of sorts that channels her remaining ether into the surge. But it's been a long time since anyone set foot in the place. And now there are others who claim it as their own.
Then we shall go prepared for a fight. That said, it may be best if one of us stays behind.
You think the village could be in danger?
We saw the ether flow from Wallius in all directions, but only encountered a single familiar. There will be more. And should even one make its way here, I doubt the walls could hold it back for long.
Then I shall stay. The Phoenix will see your people safe, tributary.
You have my thanks.
Very well. We should depart at once. I fear time may no longer be a luxury we can afford.
I wonder how the decision-making process went on that. Like, which one of these will we leave behind? I'm not upset that it's Joshua. I don't really have a preference one way or the other. It'd be funny if it was Clive. It'd be funny if the three of them went on a grand adventure and we stayed behind to guard the
We must
village.
first head north and then west, deeper into the forest.
North and then west, you say? Okay. So eventually we'll get to go this way and we'll get to go this way, but not yet. We still can't go this way. But holy smokes, there's a ton more to do around here. Wait, we've got to engage with all of it. Birds of passage, or bird of passage. Rolls of honor. What ails you? And the uninvited guest, probably in reverse order. Plus is going to give us some new thing. So that's probably going to give us a new chocobo, and this is going to give us expansion to our medicine, maybe, with that name. And then these two will just be fun little side quests.